Hey everyone. Happy Monday. Okay, let's see. So I've been working on more, we're going to be working on more color concepts tonight. I'm not quite satisfied with where the colors are. Like I have, what I've been trying to do is kind of distill down the ideas that I've been having, like things I like about some of the other concepts, things that I feel are working but could use more attention or just a different idea to explore. So these next attempts, probably a couple more attempts that I'm going to try, are kind of meant to I guess solidify the ideas that I've been having in my head. A couple things that I'll kind of just note things down just to kind of show you what I've been thinking about. Let's see. So overall, I think I want to go with warmer colors. So I think I want to stay in like reds, oranges, yellows for like the undertone or like the more brightly colored parts. I mean, warm colors for bright colors for we'll call them display. So of course I want stuff like the head to be pretty bright, eye-catching. I think this is where the display colors are going to be most prominent. The rest of the body should be a little bit more subdued. If I know how to spell. So basically what I want is like an overall read of like dark, or just like, it's kind of hard to explain. Like if you look at a shark from a distance, especially, they tend to have two tones basically. Like you can see the top part of them is darker, the bottom part is lighter, like a tiger shark. The closer you get, the more you can see the distinct little stripes and the different hues that go in. But the first read is dark on top, light on bottom. So that's kind of what I want here. I don't want the colors or like the patterns to be too contrasty. Like if you're looking at this from a distance and also in the water, it should read almost like a solid color. But the closer you get to it, the more variety you can see, because like you can see there's a lot going on. It's just not super in your face. So that's kind of what I want to have happening here, like subtle color variation and pattern. With the exception of like, so I'm talking about like inside the dark parts. I do want some bright patches that are like the undertone showing through, and this is coming from inspiration like different types of whales, a lot from whale sharks. I'm looking at big sea creatures basically, and I want to pull a lot from them, but they tend not to be super like overly patterned, except for something like this, which has a lot of the spots and stuff. So I'm kind of pulling from that to get these little areas, but I don't want to overdo it. Like I don't want to spread them all over. So I'm emphasizing just certain spots, like the fins, this area here coming out of the belly. Just little touches. And what else? This is, I do still want to incorporate that kind of swirling, like oil mixing with water sort of idea. And I kind of got inspiration as well from, you see this here, this is like a acrylic pour, and like the colors like mix in and spiral around each other in really interesting ways. So I'm kind of pulling this sort of thing as inspiration in here. I did try, you can kind of see little remnants of it, but like I did try to kind of actually use the photo texture as like an element, but I didn't really like how it was turning out, so I painted over it, majority of it. I'm going to be painting over these as well. But that's kind of where my head is. I'm really trying to narrow down what I want for the final colors on this guy. It's been kind of hard, but I think with these sort of goals in mind, like sort of limitations, I'm going to be heading more in the right direction. And I'm really just trying to think like, what do I like from the concepts that I currently have? Like, what do I feel is working? And just pulling more of that into the new concepts that I'm working on. So there's certain shapes I've tended to like. There's certain like for example, like I'm pulling this from the very first concept I did. I really like this sort of like flow. I really like the little white tips. I like the white tip reef sharks. So that's cool. So I'm looking back at the other concepts and like just thinking about what works. What do I want to pull from those? And then I'll keep elaborating a little bit. But yeah, trying to get closer to a final. We'll see how well we do today. Because I would like to get a final design, or at least a close to a final design today. That way I'm really looking forward to texturing the model. So I really want to get moving on that. Yeah, I hope everyone's had a good week since last time I was streaming. I think my week was pretty good, fairly uneventful. With the exception of, I don't know if I talked about this. I might have talked about it last time. I think there were some newer video game announcements that came out between last time and now that I'm actually pretty excited about. There's a Dragon's Dogma announcement for an expansion. What else was there? I could have sworn there was another thing that was exciting. Or it might be like, I don't know. There's been there was a Fable showcase for the new Fable game, which yeah, I don't know if I think there's some aspects of it that are cool that I think might be fun, but there are some others that are a little bit I don't know, they kind of have me worried. I did play Fable 1. I do have pretty fond memories of that game. I thought it was pretty interesting. Like what the game promised was pretty ambitious. I don't know if it necessarily delivered on everything, but there's some cool stuff that the game did that I hadn't really seen a game do before. Like the morality system. It wasn't as deep as they were saying it was. I think. I mean, Peter Molyneux is maybe a little bit notorious for kind of promising the world, and the game just kind of doesn't deliver everything that he talks about. So that was kind of the case with Fable, I feel like. But I mean, I did enjoy the like you could be really evil, and your character would change based on like your tendency, I guess, or like your reputation as an evil character. So you would actually like grow horns, and your character would like start looking really pale and like kind of spooky. And then the the opposite would happen too. Like if you're really being a good guy, you would actually get like a halo above your head and stuff. I think you could wear like different armor and things like that. The one cool thing that always stuck with me from Fable was your character actually like gets when you're in combat, your character actually gets scarred. If you get into a fight and you get really injured, your character gets scars on their body, and they actually stay on the character for like the duration of the game, which I thought was pretty cool. So if you really get into a lot of fights and you get messed up a lot, your character actually shows that as history, on their body, which is pretty. I hadn't really seen a game do that before. I've seen games do, and I kind of don't see games do that now either. Like, of course, you can see like injuries on your body, like little like blood spatters and stuff like that. But they generally just like fall away, like they just fade away after a while. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool of the game to do. I didn't play any of the other ones, like Fable 2, 3, and then I know there's probably like, I think there's a Fable Online or something. I don't know. I know there's more games than just 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't know about this new one. Some of it feels like the old Fable. Like the old Fable was like kind of quirky. And there's some aspects of that come through, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Hey, Vuvasic, how's it going? Friend Opal told me about your channel, and I was wondering, do you have Discord? And would it be okay if I asked you for tips because I'm learning ZBrush? Yeah, no problem. I don't have Discord. Well, I mean, I have a Discord. Like, I personally have a Discord. But I don't have like I know Opal has a Discord channel, like a community started, and I don't have one of those. But yeah, I don't mind if you want to reach out and ask for tips. That's totally fine. I think maybe you can friend request me on Discord somehow. I'm part of Opal's Discord community, so maybe you can shoot me a message from there or something if you're part of that as well. But yeah, that would be totally fine. That's exciting. What are you trying to focus on, or like what are you interested in sculpting? And how long have you been working in ZBrush so far? My username on Discord is just rar, R-A-R. It's I try to keep it the same everywhere. Creature sculpts. Started sculpting in Blender in December of 2024, but 2 weeks ago I finished a course from ZBrush, and I'm now continuing my commissions in ZBrush. Oh, nice. How do you like the differences between ZBrush and Blender? Do you still prefer Blender sometimes, or have you fully switched over? I've been meaning to try sculpting in Blender too. I think it would be a good idea to learn how to do that, you know. In terms of sculpting, really enjoying ZBrush and its tools. Nice. Sent me a friend request. Okay. I will check it out. Oh, I see you. There you go. Cool. Yeah, you're welcome to ask questions. I'm not sculpting right now, but I'll get back into sculpting in a bit. I'm just trying to work out this these colors for the creature I'm working on. Normally, the majority of my time is spent sculpting. Oh, it's 3 a.m. there. Wow. Okay. Yeah, no problem. See ya. Okay, I like this idea of this spot here on the shoulder that kind of swoops down, because it kind of reminds me of like dolphins. If you've seen dolphins, I think they're bottlenose dolphins, or maybe they're common dolphins. Let me check. Common dolphins actually have like a pattern on them that on their sides you can see like stripes or like crisscrossing patterns of different like grays and warm yellows on them. So it kind of reminds me of something like that. And it also kind of reminds me of like an orca, you know, the eye spot the orcas have. So it could be cool just to have some brighter area there, and kind of in one of the other concepts, I sort of spiraled this around a little bit, like a little swirl. I want to keep in mind, like, I really like that idea of this sort of swirly sort of mixing of colors. It also kind of reminds me of like you know, when like they're like testing out like aerodynamic shapes, or like even fluid dynamics. They put things in like a wind tunnel or like a vortex of some kind, and sometimes they have little particles like floating around, and you can see them kind of form into these little swirly shapes. That's kind of what I like. I'll show you here. These are a few of the older concepts that I have, like this swirly shape here. I like that. And then I kind of started doing it a lot more like right here. This one has a lot of it. Kind of looks like turbulence in like yeah, like water or like wind sort of thing. Hey, Stormfire, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just trying to narrow down on a color pattern. I have some like guidelines that I've established now that I think are going to help me, but yeah, it's been a little bit tough nailing things down. So I don't know if I like that. I think it's too much maybe there. I like it better on the other concept. So maybe I'll keep going with this, but maybe if I still like it, I'll just kind of like make a hybrid concept of the two. We'll keep on trying to figure this out though. And I'm using this as like, I kind of started using this as my color palette. I have all the skins. Yeah, you never know, I suppose. Like, if I were to turn this into more of like a world building project, I guess some of those other colorations could be like subspecies, or like just maybe different regions of the world. You know, different regions of Pandora have different patterns for these guys, depending on what part of the ocean they're in. Could be cool. You're alive. I hope you're doing all right. It sounds like you've been like you just survived something, you know. When people say I'm alive, it's like they're in the thick of it. One thing I really like about this, well, first of all, it get like this really bright stuff going on here, like how it quickly switches between orange and blue. That's really cool. Like this stuff here is really nice. So I'm trying to see if maybe there's a way that I could incorporate some of those ideas in here. Like it quickly transitions, like, let's see. Like maybe we could do something like, I do like the blue. It's kind of contradicting what I was saying. Like I wanted to go with more warm colors, but throwing in some of this blue in here might, I don't know. I'm surviving, still can't find a job, and it's been months. My sleep is like iffy, so I'm constantly tired. Yeah, I feel ya. I've been in that. This no sleep sort of thing was me for quite a while. It was crazy. Like once I started actually falling into like a regular sleeping schedule, the like change, because I had been like just not sleeping very well or like purposefully staying up. So I guess my body must have just like acclimated to it, but I didn't realize just how like bad I felt, you know, until I actually started getting more sleep. So yeah, I hope you're able to rest soon. The blue and white and the gold, yeah, they're really cool. Really cool stuff. I love this sort of, like, I'm a big color theory. I really like studying color theory. I'm kind of a I have so many books and stuff about it. There's quite a few artists that I follow who, like, I don't know, I just feel like they have a really awesome like mastery of color. Like the way they use it is really interesting and, you know, very vibrant and things like that. I like vibrant colors, stuff that really pops. Like playing complements against each other like this is really cool. Oh, eagle rays. Sorry, that's kind of random. I was looking at eagle rays as well. Eagle rays are really cool looking. They have some. There's so many different varieties of them, and they have really, really cool spots. Like, here, this guy's cool. Like all that stuff going on there. It's really, really interesting. Actually, I don't know. I might kind of copy some of this stuff. Like this is super cool. I think the color could go more saturated, like even more red or orange. But all of this going on in here, it's kind of like what I had, I guess, like this one. But I don't know. Maybe there's something in there that I could find, something I could use. I've tried having a schedule, but my body either wants to wake up early or have me blip out of existence till 1 p.m. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I'll try. Maybe there's like a little bit of breakup in here, like with spots or something. Because I do like the way those the fins on the first concept I did are probably my favorite ones. Kind of reminds me of you see photos of like Jupiter and like the patterns that the clouds have when there. Sometimes you'll see like crazy swirling effects in there. It also reminds me of these a little bit. Zero, is this going to be a full model in ZBrush or just the concept? It's a full model in ZBrush. Yeah, actually, let me load up the model. I'll show you. Just give me a second to get everything loaded. This is just basically what I'm doing is concepts to figure out how I'm going to texture everything. That way I have a plan when I go into Substance Painter to paint them up. The majority of the sculpt has been done. I have like detail stuff to do. It's still loading, sorry. I have detail stuff to do. And a bit of cleanup after I reproject stuff. Because I still have to do a little bit of reprojection from the old high poly onto the new high poly with the new mesh that I made. Here we go. It's finally loaded. Sorry about that. Took kind of took a long time, didn't it? It's a kind of a big file now. But yeah, this is the guy. I'm in the process of projecting. So this is the new one. This is the old stuff here. I can turn that off temporarily. But this is what the sculpt looks like so far. He has, where's his teeth? Where are your teeth? Those aren't all of his teeth, but he'll look better. He's been pretty fun. Like this is a pretty old, like the idea for him was a fairly old concept, but this whole series has been about revamping him basically. And I'm really happy with the way he turned out. Like comparing the old version to the new version it's a pretty drastic change. It's still like the same core concepts. You can see the same sort of elements in there, but they're just much more refined. So I'm pretty happy about all of that coming together. And he's gonna look even nicer when I finally, figure out a color scheme for him. That's what we're trying to do here, though. Gonna be sick. Wish I could reach that level someday. Oh, thank you. And I'm sure you will. I mean, if you're a concept artist or creature designer, all it is just practice, getting the time in is all. How long have you been in the industry? I've been in the industry for, doing math in my head. My brain is failing me. For 10 plus, it's 14 years. I don't know why that took me so long. Since 2012, basically. That's when I got my first industry job. So yeah, it's been a while. Details are so crazy. Oh, thank you. Hopefully, when I take it into Substance Painter, we can kind of crank up the detail even more, because we can use all kinds of cool like microsurface stuff. Because there's only so much you can do in ZBrush even. I don't want to like have to subdivide to like crazy amounts to get what I want out of there. So the microsurface stuff and Substance Painter will be nice. I finished my degree this year. Congratulations. I was gonna say thank you. Congratulations on that. Finished my degree this year for video games, and tomorrow I'm having a final degree project presentation. I'm so nervous. Do you have any advice for finding a job? A final degree project presentation. That sounds. I mean, I can. I definitely see how it could be intimidating. Yeah, I had to do a similar thing where it was like I had to present like my portfolio in front of like the chair of our department and like the core faculty. I can't remember what they called that. It was some sort of review. So I wish you luck. I'm sure you'll do fine. It can be intimidating, but I'm sure you'll nail it. Do I have any advice for getting a job in the industry? You know, just start doing the job that you want to do with your personal work. You know, pretend like you already have the job that you want, and just start doing that work. Like if you want to do creature design, you know, give yourself creature design prompts and just start doing the design work and making sure that you're uploading that stuff to your portfolio sites, ArtStation, Instagram, you know, all of those places, and keeping that up to date as you're going. You know, you should have plenty of stuff to show if you are approaching things that way, and especially on like ArtStation. Instagram or Twitter or like those types of places. Showing your process is going to be very important. Talking about, or maybe even on YouTube, talking about your process is going to be important. Because of, you know, just the environment that we're in right now, like making sure that you're showing how you do stuff, like showing how you think about stuff, is going to be super, super important. Because people in the industry, we want to know that you think like a designer, you know, like you know how to problem solve like a designer. So it's not just about showing your stuff and making pretty things, you know, it's also about your thought process. So showing how you work, maybe if you know, just recording yourself while you're working, or like maybe even starting your own live stream or something just to kind of document things is going to be a good idea. But yeah, that's really exciting for you. Yeah, congratulations on completing your degree, and I wish you luck on your presentation. That sounds a little nerve-wracking, but exciting still. So good luck. Is it true that there is more competition for character art, like characters, but I like characters, but I also like environment art and props. So honestly, I'm not sure which path to choose. Um, I would say yes. Character art can be very competitive, but you're just limited by how good your anatomy is. Um, how good your anatomy is and like your costume design ability. So it just depends like how often or how diligent you're practicing that. It might be harder to get there, but it's not impossible. So I wouldn't be like, if you apply for a few character design jobs and you don't get them right away, I wouldn't be down on yourself too much. Just keep going, just keep cranking out the characters, and I'm sure you'll get where you want to be eventually. I will say, like, if you enjoy props and environments, you probably will have a much easier time getting a foothold in that area, because you could start out like as an environment artist and props, and then sort of migrate to the character side of things, depending on the studio and what opportunities they have there, and like if they allow you to kind of switch disciplines. But that's a good way to just get a foothold. The environment and prop route is probably a good way to get a foothold. So I think you might have an advantage in that respect, because there's a lot of people who don't really like. There's a lot of demand for that, like, right? Like, if you think about a video game, the majority of the things that are in the video game are not characters. they're props and environment stuff. So you're gonna have a lot of work in that respect, So you could do something like, focus on trying to land an environment or prop job just for the time being, just to get yourself in the door, and then kind of, like plan on moving to characters later. I've also been advised to base my models on professional concept art, because in the end, I won't be responsible for designing the character or object myself, but translating it into 3D. That is good as well. It depends on where you are, though. Like, if you're in a big studio, like if you land a job in a big studio, that's true. You probably will not be responsible for the design. You'll probably just be responsible for taking the concept and making it into a 3D model or whatever. But if you get a job somewhere like a smaller studio, like an indie studio, chances are you're going to be asked to wear more than one hat. So in those types of studios, you might be doing everything. You might be concept modeling, texturing, all of the above. And it really depends on what you like to do. Like, do you want to have your hand in everything? Do you want to be able to follow an asset through the whole pipeline? Or do you want to just, do you want to be part of like the bigger AAA sort of pipeline? Because like for me personally, I really enjoy being able to like take a model from start to finish, like doing the concept and doing the model and going through all the steps. I've been fortunate enough to be able to work on a lot of projects that allow me to do that. So I personally kind of seek out that sort of thing, but that's not necessarily the case. I think I've been pretty fortunate in that respect that I've been able to do that sort of thing so often. But in, you know, more directly, you know, talking about the advice you were given, you know, yes, it is a good idea to have that sort of thing in your portfolio. Like maybe one or two examples of that, just to show that you can do it, you know. But I would also include some sort of like some design in there, just because you never know. Like that might be the thing that pushes you over for certain clients. Like they might see that you can model based off concepts, but then they might also see like, oh, you know, this person actually knows how to design stuff, so we can ask them to do more stuff, you know. And you know, you might have a better chance at getting the job in that respect. Honestly, right now, I'd be happy finding a job in the industry. Everything seems really difficult at the moment with all the mass layoffs. Yeah, I feel you there. Yeah. In that case, I don't know. I think you might have more of a route to getting a job faster if you were to focus more on the environment prop sort of thing. That would be my hunch, but I like I said, I don't know if I can guarantee that or anything, you know. Like part of this sort of journey, you know, is like there's a certain element of unpredictability to it, as I'm sure you've become aware of. But that would be like my hunch, you know. Would you recommend trying to make models for Fab while I look for a stable job as a way to generate passive income? Models for Fab. What do you mean models for Fab? Oh, for Unreal Marketplace. You know, I guess it doesn't hurt. Like you could, I might try to like kill two birds with one stone sort of thing, you know, like make a, you know, think about where you want to apply to. Maybe find a few studios that you would like to apply to. Think about some of the props that would be useful to a company like that, or a specific project, and then just make the asset, and then use it in your portfolio, and you could probably sell it as well. So you're kind of covering both bases. Might be a viable solution. I didn't really think of I haven't visited Unreal Marketplace in so long. It's been a long time since I've checked out what they have on there. My friend and I were working on a game project, and we were looking into Unreal Marketplace a lot, but it's been kind of sidelined, so I haven't been around there. Some of this is starting to feel like this little corner was starting to feel a little bit like a Japanese tattoo. Like the clouds. There's like stylized clouds. What do you do about software licenses? I try to do everything legally, but they are very expensive, if you know what I mean. Yeah, everything I've had has been paid for. I've been fortunate to not have to like have to pirate stuff. But I do know that it would be tough, like, because here's the thing about it is, like, when I started working, or even like when I was in school, a majority of the licenses that you like for Photoshop, ZBrush, all of that stuff, they were just like buy it once, and that's it. Like it wasn't all switched over to this, which I really hate. It wasn't all switched over to this subscription based stuff, which I really don't like. You could try to see, I know you said you finished your degree, but you could try to see if there's like still some sort of student discount that you can get. The other thing is just that is sort of cool is like there's so many free things that you can use at this point that a lot of the time you don't really have to rely too hard on a lot of the paid stuff. So unless you're like, Blender does a lot of things that some of the other, like you could get by with Blender pretty much for all of your modeling stuff. You don't have to have Maya or like ZBrush or stuff like that. For concept, you know, there's Krita, there's Clip Studio Paint. Nomad is a good solution if you're trying to find a substance. I mean, a ZBrush substitute that isn't subscription based. So there are quite a few ways I think you could probably get around that, or like spend minimal money. Perigosu, how's it going? Sorry, this feels like an interrogate. No, don't worry at all. You know, that's partly what I'm here for, right? Like, that's one of the things that I'd really like to help people out with my channel. And kind of, you know, this is what I find interesting. So don't worry about it. Feel free to ask away. You know, this is the kind of stuff I wish I knew when I was headed out to find a job, right? So if I can help someone else, then I'm pretty happy about that. Yeah, if you feel like you're struggling with like finding the software that you, or like the subscription stuff is giving you issues, then yeah, I would look into alternatives. Because there usually is an alternative to every major piece of software that you would need to make a video game asset. I know it requires you to like relearn a new piece of software, which can be kind of a drag, but a lot of them, you know, there's lots of resources out there for, you know, like Blender, especially. You know, all you got to do is look up a tutorial and you should be, you know, on your way to figuring it out. Are you going to Texture and Substance Painter, or will it be Polypaint? I'm going to Texture and Substance. But you know what? What I might do is I might project this down onto the Polypaint, onto the model in ZBrush, I mean, with Polypaint, just to get like a kind of a template going in 3D. And then take it into Substance, so I can like refine it. Or maybe I guess I could just project it in Substance Painter as well. But I'm not as familiar with like Substance Painter, like projecting images down onto models in Substance Painter. I've only done that like once or twice, and I've probably forgotten how to do it by now. It was a long time. Been a long time. UVs are going to be complicated. I've been recommended Rhizome UV. Have you tried it? I have not. That sounds interesting. Let me check it out. Rhizome. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to. So I did. I retopologized the sky, and I did like a rough UV layout. Although I don't think it's going to be the final UV layout. Let me see. Where is it? Retopology. So this is the mesh. This is the retopologized mesh. And these are the UVs here. I'm trying to think if I... Yeah, I must not have laid them out. Or maybe this is the wrong version of the model. I could have sworn I laid them out. I have to review. But yeah, they're all the islands are all like laid out and stuff. I just need to organize them and stuff. I think I'm gonna use UDIMs. So I'll probably have like, I don't know, maybe around 20 UDIMs, depending on how the layout like works out. But yeah, I usually work with the Blender UV system. I've just kind of gotten used to it. Just like organizing everything and doing all that stuff. But yeah, Rhizome looks cool. I'll definitely have to check it out and see if there's anything that I can utilize in there. It's a lifetime payment of 150. Oh, well, that's good. That already makes me like it. Anytime there's a perpetual license for something, I'm much happier with the product. I'm not sure if I like the fins on this one. I think it looks a little too what's the word? I just think I need like a different pattern going on in here. I'll save this out as a, I'll save that layer as a like old version, and then we'll try. What if I shift these colors just a little bit? Normally, ooh, that kind of feels nice. Just like this deeper sort of red with the kind of greenish blue. Somewhere around here, maybe. Let me try that again. That is kind of cool. This very it's more like a blood red sort of thing instead of like an orange. I like the head. This area here is cool. Might be cool to use some of this. The thing that kind of is irritating now is like I changed up the color palette here with the hue saturation, and now this is I can't color pick from this anymore because it's not the right colors anymore. I just wanted to throw in a little bit more blue here. Yeah, I don't know if this is actually hitting what I wanted to, hitting the target that I wanted to go for. I think it's cool. Like I like the colors, but it's not quite. Let's try, we'll just try something. Let's see. I think what's like screwing it up for me is I have the other one saved, so in case we mess this up entirely, I can go back. But I think what's causing the issue for me is this is just too swirly looking. Like it's too stylized. Like I do want the swirls kind of to happen in there, but it needs to feel very like natural. Like it needs to feel like I have these references here, like this sort of like oil spill sort of thing going on. This. Like the swirls swirls like happen in here, but they're not like perfect. It's not a perfect spiral. They've got some irregularities, like things like drag and trail off, and edges kind of like tear and stuff like that. So that's the sort of thing I'm looking for. And this was looking to I don't know, too purposeful. It's too manufactured, I guess. So I need to figure out a way to make it feel a little more natural in some way, I suppose. More like these examples. I don't know if I like what's going on the neck either. Maybe if we had kind of like an eye spot, because before we had it down here, but I don't think that worked very well. But if I have it here somewhere, that might feel a little bit better. And then I had that sort of shoulder stripe going down here. Maybe we could do that, but just a little bit differently. I think if I can probably actually color shift this the same amount. I think it was like 20. Oh, that doesn't look right. I think it was like 17 or 20 though, even though that looks really weird. I'll try it. I think maybe this is a little too much. Let's kind of minimize this a little bit. I really like this Bloodborne track here. That is one of my favorite games. I think it's still probably my favorite From Software game. Followed closely by Elden Ring. It used to be, so before Elden Ring, it used to be Bloodborne and then Dark Souls 3. But I had such a good time playing Elden Ring that it definitely took the number 2 spot for me. This red here is really cool looking. It's like almost electric, like it looks like it's glowing. I don't know if I want to push it that far, but a little bit of the brighter red just kind of peeking through here might be nice. I do want to I want to warm this up a little bit, incorporate more red, because I started out the stream saying how I wanted to go more with like a warm color, and then I totally like. I mean, we have red here in the front, but this is all very cool. So I think incorporating more of this might make me like it more. I got a little bit of feedback from some other artists on this design, and one of them pointed out that the red coloration might actually be pretty advantageous for a marine predator, because especially if it dives deep, because red, the wavelength of red in deeper water is really hard to see. That's why lots of deep sea, well, like, you know, like a giant squid or like a colossal squid, they're red. Even though I think they might be able to change color, there's a lot of other species of deep sea predators that are red in coloration, because it actually ends up being really hard to see underwater. So this sort of red could actually be some sort of camouflage for it. Just gotta spread it around a little bit more evenly. I think making this more gradual here might be nice. So it's not so stark. This area here, I don't know. I wish I kept better track of the how I adjusted that color, but I didn't think about it. Excuse me. This area here is like this is the spot where we want to attract a lot of attention. So I'm going to add a lot of it's going to be interesting to see what it'll actually look like on the side of the face. probably should be using some of these other brushes too, because they kind of blend a little bit better. I really like what's going on in here. This is cool. This is a cool color happening in here. Yeah, I think I like this version of the concept better than the last one. I'm going to, so there's a couple adjustments I want to make. I'm going to see if this, I grab this cooler, this blue, very light blue, and just fade this in just a little bit. I wonder what is going on. So for some reason in Clip Studio Paint, this brush here doesn't mirror. It doesn't, you can't use symmetry with it, which is really weird. So maybe one of these other ones will work. Nope, that also doesn't work. Oh, it's because... All right, I'm being a big dummy. It's because of this. So I didn't have the ruler on the new layer is what it is. Will let me select this, please? Okay. Now I can brush this in here. I just wanted more like a faded look, especially on the edge. I think it'll help separate the fins from each other. If you're looking from a top-down view, I don't think it'll be a big deal once I'm like in 3D, but this has that sort of faded look and I want to kind of carry it into the rest of the color scheme somehow. I wonder if this will work if I get some of that. Nah, I don't think so. So this is not too bad. There's a lot of stuff going on in here that I like. I'm not sure if it quite hit the mark that I was trying to go for. Like the goals that I set for myself at the beginning of the stream. But it is interesting. Like there's some cool stuff going on. Like like I said, I really like this area. The fins are starting to grow on me. I'm not too sure about the head. I think some of the other concepts have a more interesting like pattern on the neck. That's starting to feel pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I do like it better than this version. I wonder, okay, let's take this. And we'll do some quick adjustments on it, see if we can get it to, I don't know, just kind of experiment a little bit. Sometimes moving around these sliders can create some interesting, like unpredictable stuff. I mean, some of these are cool too. I don't know if I'd go with them though. Maybe, so let's leave the color alone. Play with the saturation. make it gray, but maybe it's a little too punchy. Oh wow, that's too much. Let me take it down just a tiny bit. Luminosity, I don't want to mess with the luminosity too much. No, I don't want to. Maybe we'll go for like 5. Just a little bit darker. Very minuscule change. This will look really cool with the bioluminescence on it, I think. It would be really dark though. Like if you turn, if it were nighttime underwater, probably just see more like this. But I think that one, so we'll call that one like completed as far as like a concept goes. What could I do? I still don't feel like I'm like quite hitting my goal. I think it's because this still feels too it feels too, it's very blue dominant still. Like we do have the reds, like I said, but I wonder what would happen if I I kind of colorize this to be warmer. If it would go into the range that I want. Let's see, is that doing something? It definitely warmed it up. But I don't know, maybe. I kind of like this for some reason. It really knocks out a lot of the red though, but like this is very gray, blue, and then the red kind of subtly creeps in up here. I think that's a cool look. I don't know if I necessarily, I don't know. At the beginning of this, I was pretty sure that I wanted it to be like red, some sort of red color. But now I am not sure at all. Maybe this is a good balance. I mean, kind of seeing the two options, like going through the hue saturation dealy there. Okay, well, we'll keep that. We'll keep that, and then we'll play around with something else. I don't know if I will finish it by the end, but we'll definitely play around with something. Let me see if there's another color palette that I like up here. I mean, I could kind of revert to, okay, so the very first concept I did had the red to like an orange, like a golden sort of yellow, and then back to a red here. And then there was like a very pale yellow. So I do that. Nah, I don't know. We could go to the complement and go very dark. That might be too blue still. Maybe we don't do that. Maybe we just go like a darker, warm color. It'll still feel kind of cool by comparison, but it won't be in the blue part of the color wheel. We'll just kind of quickly figure out like some sort of rough pattern. Uh-oh. I need to change the, yeah, I need to change the color picker so it stops picking up everything and just picks up from the layer. It's kind of annoying before. Like I said, I still really like the idea of the kind of like white tips on the ends of stuff. This sort of dolphin idea where it like has a stripe down at the side or like over the shoulder is kind of cool. I think I'm just confusing myself even more because like there's elements of all of these that I really like. Even just this now, like this pattern here on the back here. The flow that it's starting to have, I really like that. I mean, it's good to have, I did want like six-ish like solid options to choose from. So I'm definitely, I think I'm around that number. I think I have 6. Well, 5. And there's one that I definitely don't want to go with as far as color goes, the green one. But there are some like elements of that pattern that I think I like. Just the colors aren't right. I think these could be a little more subtle though. Like I like the pattern there, but they don't have to be so contrasty. getting getting a little bit what's the word? I was kind of focusing in there because I just wanted to see if I could get something kind of locked in before stream ended. I think I have a decent idea of where this could go. I think this needs a little bit more attention. Like, I like how subtle things are going on the body, but the head definitely needs to be striking. Like, I definitely want that to be a focal area. I want that to be a display area. So colors up there need to be more eye-catching. It's too dull right now. But I think I can fix it pretty easily. So yeah, it's getting closer. Like, there's certain things that I know now that I would like to have for sure. Like things like, you know, I know that I like the white tips on the fins, you know. I know that I want some sort of warmer colors. I know this needs to be more eye-catching. So there's like things are starting to solidify. It's just, yeah, it's taking a while. That's probably part of the problem. Like, I run into this every so often. Is like usually when I work on a creature, I have a pretty good idea very early on what the colors could be. Like, you know, 9 times out of 10, I'll have like a really good idea of where I want the color to go. This guy, for some reason, I had no clue like what I was going to do for the color. So it's been pretty hard. I notice with I just noticed with myself, like if I don't have a good idea for color fairly early on, I know that I'm going to have a kind of a struggle later on trying to figure it out. It's just kind of how it goes sometimes. But I don't know. It's been a little bit scary, I'll be honest. Like, I wasn't sure I was going to find anything that I would like, or I would have like a hard time just like figuring out how to like establishing something. I don't think that's an issue anymore. Like, there's several of these concepts that I like, at least like some parts of them. Now the challenge is just like, I'm trying to grab all of these ideas. It feels like I'm trying to grab them out of the air and like pull them all together somehow. Like I'm trying to stitch them together. And that feels a little bit hard, but I feel like I'm getting there. Yeah, like, so this one's starting to work. there's stuff here that I'm starting to like. This stuff, this one again has like some pretty cool stuff going on too. Let's turn on the other ones. This one has some cool stuff, but I said like the color isn't working. Like I don't want, I mean, I wonder what happens. Just a quick experiment. What if we, what if I color shift this to like a warm color? Like a red. I gotta put this on the right layer. What did I just do? I might have screwed something up. I wonder if I can get it to be red. If I turn the body red, the rest of it's going to go green is the thing. I don't know. I probably would just go rainbowy. This is probably the red zone there. Yeah, it did. So maybe not. There are some interesting things happening with the pattern in there that I like. This one was cool. I like the swirliness of like the mixing of the colors in there. That's something that I want to bring forward. This one was okay. There's some patterns in here that I like around the torso. This one's probably the closest to what I think if all else fails and I can't like settle on one, I think I might go with this one with a few tweaks. We might go with this one for the final, which is funny because that's the first one I did. This one is really tempting though, and this one is around the same. So yeah. Okay. That is my time for tonight. Thanks everyone who stopped in, checked out the stream. Thanks everyone who commented, asked questions. I'll be back next week, same time, and we'll see how far we get next time. All right. Thanks everyone. Have a good night. Bye-bye.